Welcome back, everyone, to the From Israel with Love podcast. This is Ben Carrito coming to you from Jerusalem. And today we're going to be talking about a question that is posed to me a lot. Why do so many American Jews support the Democratic Party? As an American Israeli, a religious and traditional Jew, and an outspoken supporter of Donald J. Trump, this is a question that is frequently presented to me by my conservative friends who are not of the Jewish persuasion. As can be expected, the answer is complex and multifaceted, but let's dig in. All right, so first of all, there's a trend in American politics that is not exclusive to American Jews, and this is something that's important to note before we really dive into the meat of the issue here. Many persons who are more centrist in their politics are finding it increasingly difficult to align themselves with Democratic politicians who are ever becoming more radical in their leftist agenda. Similarly, many ethnic minorities, including African Americans, Hispanic or Latin Americans, and also Jewish Americans, had previously joined liberal movements amidst a flurry of insincere political marketing that the Democratic Party is supposedly a bastion of tolerance and a stalwart refuge against racism. But guess what, everyone? Talk is cheap. Eventually, empty promises and condescending pandering began to push members of American minorities towards the unmistakable message of the great former president Donald J. Trump. And that message was essentially, let's all come together as Americans, let's all work hard, and let's together make America great again. Accordingly, despite a vicious onslaught by the legacy media to slanderously portray the 45th president as an Islamophobic racist, the 2020 exit polls indicated that every major ethnic minority had a significant shift away from the Democratic Party and towards former President Donald Trump, and also conservatism. And look, let's get real. With off-the-cuff comments like Joe Biden declaring, "If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black," it's pretty obvious that it became clear to many that modern Democrats care about little more than retaining the votes of ethnic minorities with one empty, pandering promise after another. In this vein, portions of the American Jewish community followed a similar trend of dissatisfaction. To further understand Jewish political alliances, we must clarify the definition of what it truly means to be Jewish. Being Jewish is not merely a matter of DNA, nor is it simply a religion. As such, Jewish identity differs from most Western religious or ethnic distinctions. In reality, the Jewish people are a tribe. Indeed, we are a family. And one that fights a lot amongst ourselves as well, but that's not the point. Biblically and traditionally, we hold that we are a family descended from Avram, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's sons, commonly referred to as the 12 tribes of Israel. As a tribe or highly extended family, we have three core aspects of our Jewish identity: our religion, based on Torah, or the Bible, our ancestry, and our roots in the land of Israel. To be properly and functionally Jewish, all three components are necessary. Ignoring or eliminating any one of them makes the Jewish identity incomplete and ultimately unsustainable. As we say every year during the Pesach or Passover Seder or ceremonial dinner, in every generation an enemy has arisen to destroy us. These anti-Semitic adversaries often focus on one of these aspects specifically. It seems that even our enemies understand that the Jewish people will cease to exist without this trifecta of an identity. The German Nazis, for instance, concentrated on destroying the Jewish people based on DNA. The Spanish Inquisitors sought to eradicate the Jewish religion. And our modern enemies, violent and radical Muslim Arab terrorists, murderously struggle to permanently deprive the Jewish people of every single inch of our biblical and historical homeland. The modern American Jewish community is in a state of division, disarray, and even crisis. And the core of the matter is spiritual rather than political. As Rush Limbaugh astutely pointed out, liberalism is not a political movement anymore. It has become a religion of intensely irrational neo-secular humanism. In decades past, much of the American Jewish community felt that liberalism aligned with, or at the very least could be reconciled with, the three-part Jewish identity. But as modern liberalism becomes increasingly radical and totalitarian, the Jews of America are faced with a very serious dilemma. Do we as Jews choose to be loyal to the Almighty Creator and His commandments recorded in the Torah, or Bible? Do we maintain our religion, our heritage, and our community, being quality patriotic citizens of the nation in which we reside, while having a strong connection to the land of Israel? Or do we bow down and serve the blasphemously divine and infallible, supposedly, leftist political machine, which greedily fuels itself off of the human sacrifices of the unborn and gleefully ordains drag queens as their high priestesses? What do we as American Jews do when the liberal system promotes actions, policies, ideologies, and lifestyles that are wholly incompatible with the precepts of the Torah, or Bible, and Jewish religious guidelines referred to as halakha in Hebrew? While unfortunately, it seems that much of the American Jewish community is staunchly adhering to liberalism despite its radicalization, many American Jews are making the right choice, and I dare say it's significantly more than the legacy media would have you believe. Don't be misled. The polls for Jewish political support are often conducted by liberal Jewish organizations like J Street, a radical left-wing Jewish PAC, or political action committee, that has supported candidates like Representatives AOC, Alessandro Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and even Rashida Tlaib, of all people. Thus, these polls conducted by J Street, ostensibly analyzing Jewish political views, and they're even cited by conservative sources on occasion, are often considered wholly unreliable and even laughable propaganda amongst us American Jews. While J Street wants to assure us that American Jewish support for Democratic candidates and especially President Biden is hovering comfortably at 70% or much higher, many Jews, especially myself, are highly dubious of these claims and suspect that the real numbers are dramatically lower than that. Indeed, the exodus of American Jews away from the Democratic Party is now defined by the hashtag Jexit and encouraged by Jexit USA, an organization founded by Michelle Terrace and Sofia Manolesco and supported by Israeli-American reality television star Siggy Flicker. She, if you don't know who Siggy Flicker is, she is a star of the reality television series Real Housewives of New Jersey. My wife is a big fan. Maybe you don't watch trashy reality TV. My wife certainly does, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Reality television is her guilty pleasure. Anyway, for many American Jews, the deal breaker with the Democratic Party began in 2009. It turned out that Barack Hussein Obama, as a president, was not particularly benevolent to the state of Israel. Big shocker there. The malice towards the Jewish state shown by Obama and many of his Democratic allies struck at one of the three core elements of the Jewish identity: support for Israel. As former President Obama delayed weapons shipments to Israel at crucial times and sparred with then Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the looming existential threat of Iran, many Jewish Americans drifted away from the Democratic Party. And as liberalism became outspokenly hostile to biblical teachings and even to the Almighty Creator himself, religious and traditional Jews were increasingly appalled. With that context in mind, we can understand where Jewish political loyalties in America lie. In short, the clear majority of American Jews who seek to have a connection with the Most High and who hold the Torah, or Bible, as an authoritative guide for living, commonly called Orthodox or Torah-observant Jews, including myself, are strong supporters of President Donald J. Trump and usually vote along conservative to centrist lines. Similarly, American Jews who are truly concerned about the welfare of the State of Israel, both religious and otherwise, are generally pro-Trump as well. In contrast, the American Jews who are stubbornly clinging to the sinking ship of the Democratic Party, and let's get serious, in August of 2022, it's pretty clear that that's what it is. But these Jews have tragically abandoned one or more of the three key components of their traditional Jewish identity in exchange for the fanatical religion of liberalism. In a manner reminiscent of our enemies who seek to destroy us, the canonical teachings of liberalism now demand without exception that its Jewish members ignore biblical commandments and decry their brothers and sisters living in our ancient homeland of Israel as, quote, colonizing villains and, quote, war criminals. And for most, the sad choice to submit and comply was made by these liberal Jews long before Donald Trump first announced his intention to run for president. Former President Donald J. Trump noted in August of 2019 that he was dismayed by American Jewish support for the Democratic Party despite an open hostility towards the State of Israel. He said, quote, "Where has the Democratic Party gone? Defending these two people," referring to Representative Ilhan Omar and Representative Rashida Tlaib, defending these two people over the State of Israel. I think any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty. Liberal American Jews seethed with fury, screaming that Trump was spewing, quote, medieval anti-Semitic tropes against them. In reality, former President Trump's statement was a painfully accurate assessment of the nuances of the American Jewish community and political dynamics. And these Jews who sacrificed their ancient heritage and traditional identity to the idolatrous gods of liberalism presumably know better than anyone just how true and deserved Trump's stinging rebuke really is. All right, that's all for tonight. This is Ben Carrito coming to you from Jerusalem. Over and out, and see you next time. Hey everyone, this is Ben Carrito here to tell you about my brand new book that I wrote with my wife, Sarat, called Let's Go Brandon the Novel. It's a satirical parody in the style of Orwell's 1984, The Babylon Bee, and Fauda. It's both a suspenseful and hilarious portrayal of current affairs in the American, Israeli, and Middle Eastern political arenas and military spheres, and includes some delightfully vicious yet comical mockery of Biden, AOC, and many others. For a limited time, the book is being made available for free or heavily discounted to our readers. Check it out on Amazon or visit our website, itowerpublishing.com. Links in the video description.